Anyway, I just want to pick up where we left off, because we're talking about the seekers after smooth things, and those who chose illusions at the end of column 1 here, and chose the fair neck, which all this seems to be come from Isaiah 30 or somewhere in there, and justify the wicked and condemn the righteous. And you see, that is the opposite of the normal way things should be. And later on, when we talk about the sons of Zadok in this document in column 4, we're going to get the right way, that the sons of Zadok justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. The seekers after smooth things, you see, justify the wicked, make the wicked righteous. And I cited the example of one lost sheep, meaning a sinner, and 99 righteous ones in the wilderness being worth more than 99 righteous ones, the famous sort of saying of Jesus in the Gospels. And I tried to make it clear that that probably has to do with the Pauline version of justifying the sinners. We're all Gentile sinners, and the whole idea of being born in sin, and that you get from the Pauline dialectic, and how those, if you like, born under the covenant, in effect, are not born in sin. Not that I think one is worse or better than the other. That's just this ideology, which I don't consider valid anyway, but never mind. People in Palestine who thought of themselves born in the covenant, under the covenant, obviously didn't think of themselves born in sin. Now, that's been a huge thing. Even up to the 20th century, we're all born in sin, and we think, oh, we're all sinful, and so on. You know, that comes from this Paul James argument, really, that the Gentiles were considered, and I don't consider anyone like that, but in the Palestinian view, born in sin because they're not yet in under the covenant. It's not that they're born in sexual sin or something like that. That was probably a Palestinian idea at this time. Anyway, these people transgressed the covenant, broke the law, banded together against the soul of the righteous one. And again, that is a singular, Zadik. And if you look at the translation we've been following of my colleague over here, he puts the banded together against the soul of the righteous, implying plural, but it is the righteous teacher. And against all the walkers in perfection. So you see, that is plural. Hoche, I can look it up, but I don't have it in front of me. Let me see, I have the Hebrew here on page 372. V'yarshu Zadik, just condemn the righteous, and they broke the covenant, transgressed the law, and they attacked the soul of the righteous, the Tzaddik, and all the walkers in perfection, the Hoche Tamim. Perfection is Tamim. That's lines 20 and 21. So there is an attack of some kind going on here against the righteous teacher, probably, and his followers, who we hear are walkers in perfection. Jesus in the scripture. Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Unless your righteousness exceeds the scribes and the Pharisees, you shall no enter the kingdom of heaven. Perfection is a doctrine of early Christianity. Paul speaks about perfection in one of his, I think, Qumran-like passages. It's in 2 Corinthians 6, I think it is. As my New Testament is beginning to fall apart. But I got so many notes in here, it's hard for me to get another one because I'd have to then transfer all the notes. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Let's see. I think if you... it's 6:13 onwards. 2 Corinthians. But for the same reward, I speak to you as children. For what does righteousness have in common with lawlessness? And what communion does light have with darkness? Those are Dead Sea Scroll ideas. Or does Christ have with Beliar? Beliar. Belial is a Qumran term. It's just misquoted here as Beliar. Belial is the term for the devil in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And which shows an inaccurate, probably, transmission process here. I'm sure Paul wouldn't have made that error, Beliar. Michael wanted me to point out that in the original translations of my colleague here, he had put Satan wherever Belial occurred. And then he changed it later on to Belial because Satan is the wrong translation for Belial. Satan is a Hebrew word, shaitan, but it's in the Adam and Eve story. But Belial is the devil. In the Quran, it's Iblis. In the Quran, it's Iblis. Someone has Satan there, it's wrong. Iblis. Arabic, you look at the root meaning. Beliar, Paul in 2 Corinthians. Belial is the scrolls. This is what it really is here. And you see, here it is in Greek. Diabolos. Dia is against. In the Greek it's throw against. But it really is a version of this. Belial goes into Diabolos. And goes into our devil. We still have the BL from the original Belial of the scrolls. All the variations you see, for instance, Revelation, Babylon, variation on Belial. I have it in some of my articles. Also Beelzebub, another variation on Belial. And some other ones in the New Testament and Revelation. I can't think of all the different ones offhand that you have there. But anything with BL in it is a variation on Belial. So you just did your Satan Belial stuff.